All right, today is Wednesday, and Wednesday is Mountain Math. And if we take a look at our Google Classroom, we can see what problems that we need to do. So in order to see what Mountain Math problems we're going to do, we're going to go on in and we are going to take a look at our weekly assignment grid. And when we take a look, we go on over to Wednesday. And when Wednesday comes up, we can take a look and see which mountain math problems that we have going on for today. Alrighty, here we are, and under Wednesday, green rectangle there, we have mountain math problems 3 and 4 today. So 3 and 4. 3 and 4 both have some new vocabulary for you, and we will start there. So if we look at the question for number 3, it says, is the number prime or composite? Okay, and so prime or composite are two of our vocab words we're going to be talking about here in the next couple of minutes. And if we think about prime or composite numbers, we are thinking about multiplication, okay? We're thinking about the answers to our multiplication problems. The answers to pictures in the way here. The answers to multiplication problems are called products. Okay? But there's also another term that we can call the answers to multiplication problems, and that lies inside of the multiplication table. So if we take a look at our multiplication table, we see that we have a big number 1 on the screen. You need to ignore that number 1 on the screen. I'm not really sure why that's there. But the multiplication table contains all the answers to multiplication problems. Okay, our problems are made up of the numbers that are on the black bars on the left-hand side and go along the top of the multiplication table. So the answers to the multiplication problems are all inside. Okay, all of these numbers here in these white squares, these are all the answers to some multiplication problems, especially those that we are memorizing using reflex math. The other name that we can give to all these answers in here in these white boxes, okay, the other name that we can give to those, other than just saying those are the products, is that those are also the multiples. So our products or multiples. Okay, so we have prime today, we have composite, but then we also have this new vocab term as well called multiples. Okay, and then we think about what are the numbers that actually make up the multiplication problems. Okay, and so as I said, those are the numbers here located on the black bars along the left-hand side and along the top of the multiplication table. And so what we think about of these numbers is we say things like 1 times 1 equals 1. 2 times 1 equals 2. 3 times 1 equals 3. And so these numbers over here on the black bars on the left and the top of the multiplication table, those are called factors. Okay, so the numbers, as we switch back over to the camera, okay, the numbers that create the multiplication problem are called factors. Okay, so that is an introduction to four very important vocab terms for your experience in the fourth grade, especially when dealing with multiplication. Okay, and 3 and 4 both are dealing with the idea of multiplying. And although you're not multiplying anything in 3 and 4, you're using our developing knowledge of multiplication to help you with it. So, number 3 asks us, is the number prime or is it composite? Okay, a prime number only has the factors of 1 and itself. Those are prime numbers. So what we're trying to figure out is 13 a prime number or is 13 a composite number? And the one way to remember that is whether they're prime or composite is prime numbers, there's only one multiplication sentence that can make 13, okay? Or there are multiple multiplication sentences that could make 12, like 3 times 4 and 6 times 2, 1 times 12, multiple multiplication problems that can make the number 12. So we would consider the number 12 a composite number. The number 13, on the other hand, if we take a look at the multiplication table, and you'll notice this multiplication table goes to the factors of 15 times 15. We can go in and we can start scanning all the multiples. So I'm up here at the top row and I'm looking for the number 13. Oh, there it is. 1 times 13. Okay. I know that one factor pair of 13 is 1 times 13. So here, you do not need to create a factor tree. Okay. You simply list factor pairs. Okay. The two numbers that make the multiplication sentence. Those are the factor pairs. And so we have a factor pair of 13. We have 1 times 13. And I like to put those in parentheses or grouping symbols just to keep them together. Okay, so now I'm looking at my multiplication table and I'm trying to scan to see if I can't find another 13. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Nope. 3, 6, 9, 12. Nope. 15. I am not seeing a 13 anywhere else as I'm scanning. Oh, there it is. 13, another one. Oh, but it's the same set of factors. So that means that we do not need to list that factor pair again, because it's still 13 times 1. In our case, we recognized it as 1 times 13. Commutative property says that they are the same. So the only factor pair that makes the number 13 is 1 times 13. That means that the number 13 is prime. So is the number prime or composite? The number 13 is prime because the only multiplication sentence or factor pair is 1 and itself. 1 times 13. Prime numbers a prime number only has the factors of 1 and itself. And there it is. 13 is a prime number because it only has the factors of 1 and itself. 13. Okay? So that is a prime number. A composite number is the complete opposite. Okay? It would be like the number 12. The number 12 has 1 times 12, 2 times 6, 3 times 4. So the number 12 has 1, 2, 3 factor pair sets. Okay, that's three factor pairs. That makes the number 12, because it's more than just one in itself, a composite number. Okay. So how about that multiplication table? Where are you going to get that from? That multiplication table for you is located in your Google Classroom in 2 locations. Okay, under math book lessons, it's there, but then it's also under your daily grind. Okay, so you can go here and you can open your multiplication table. And when you open your multiplication table, you'll notice that it shows up vertical, and that can be irritating, especially when you're new at reading multiplication tables and using them as a tool. And so what we can do here is, and this is a little workaround here, childies, click that print icon, okay, in the right hand corner. And it brings up another screen. It's kind of and when you press that print icon, then it brings up this other screen, and then you got this little arrow over here. It's part dashed line and then part solid line with an arrow at the end. If you click that, it will rotate your multiplication table for you so that you're looking at it in the right direction. I think that'll be very helpful for you. Okay, so that's number 3. All right, I'm going to keep this multiplication table up because number 4, okay, number 4 asks us to list the factors for each number. Okay, so for number 3, again, we were listing the factor pairs to figure out if a number is prime. Here in number 4, we're going to list the factors for each number. All right, and then we get to circle the factors that are the same. Our first number is 12. Okay, and then our second number is 24. And if you can remember, okay, the factors of a number are the numbers that make that number, okay, that make the multiplication sentence. And so these numbers on the left and the top in this black bar, those are your factors, the little factories that make the products, okay, or make the multiples. Multiples and products are all in here in the center of this multiplication table, and we got to find the factors for the number 12. So I am going to look at the multiplication table, and I'm going to look in the center there, and I'm going to look for that product. I'm going to look for the multiple 12, and I want to figure out how many different ways can I make that number. So as I scan the top row, I see the number 12. 1 times 12 equals 12. I can write down that factor pair. And where are you going to put that factor pair? You're going to put that factor pair in this box here where it says list factor pairs. 1 times 12. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to my multiplication table. I'm going to go along the second row, or the row that has all of the multiples of 2. And I'm going to go, and I'm going to go, and go. Oh, boom, there's a number 12. 2 times 6 is 12. My second factor pair that I'm going to list is 2 times 6. Now I'm going to go back to my multiplication table, and I'm going to go in the third row, and I'm going to scan the multiples of the factor 3. And I have 3, 6, oh, boom, 12. Again, 3 times 4 equals 12. Another factor pair is 3 times 4. Now I have 4 4, 8, 12. Oh, boom, there we go. 4 times 3. Oh, we don't need to list that one because it's the same two factors, 3 and 4. We do not need to list that twice. Then we have 5, 5, 10, 50. No multiple of 12 in the factor 5. Look at 6, boom, 6 times 2. Oh, but we already have that. We do not need to list that again. Okay, so once we have 2 times 6 and 3 times 4, we do not need to put down 6 times 2 or 4 times 3. Okay, same two factors. All right, and I'm trucking 8, no, 7, no, 6, 9, no. All I'm doing is scanning, looking for the number 12 so I can find more factor pairs. Boom, number 12. 12 times 1 is 12. But again, we do not need to list that because the factors 1 and 12 are already there for you. We have 13, 14, and 15. Nothing times 13, 14, or 15 will ever equal 12 because all three of them are larger than the number 12. So let us see what the next step is for number 4. We have 1 times 12, 2 times 6, and 3 times 4. What are we going to do? We are going to list the factors on this line. So I'll use a colon, and then I'm going to list them from smallest all the way to the biggest. So I have a 1, then I have a 2, then I have a 3, a 4, a 6, and a 12. Okay, right now, let's just get used to this process of figuring out prime or composite and listing the factors for the multiples that we're looking at, in this case, 12 and 24. And then I'm going to start to go into why do we do this? Why is this a great routine to get into, a great skill to practice? And that's all going to come down to fractions and dealing with fractions and all of the operations involved there. All right, let's move over to the number 24. Immediately, I know that really the first factor pair of any number is going to be 1 times itself. So I'm just automatically going to put that 1 times 24. And then I can take a look. And the number 24 is an even number. I know that 2 is a factor of all even numbers. So let's take a look here. 2, and I'm going to scan it, I'm going to scan. Oh, this top row does not have 24 because it stops. Our factors stop at 15. So we have 2, boom, 24. 2 times 12 is 24. Okay. Now I'm still looking for the factors of 24. Keep on trucking. Let's see, look at this third row. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Oh, 24. There it is right there. 3 times 8 is 24. And you'll do this so much, you'll get so used to it, you'll start memorizing what the factor pairs are. Then I'm going to look at the next row. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Oh, there we go, another 24. 4 times 6 is 24. Alrighty, I'm going to keep on trucking here. So far, I have 1 times 24, 2 times 12, 3 times 8, 4 times 6. So my biggest factor right now is 24. My second biggest is 12. I'm going to keep on scanning here, and I know I'm going to start hitting repeats because here at 6, again, there's 24, but it's 6 times 4, and I already have 4 and 6 listed. 7, no, 24 is not a multiple of 7. 8, 24 is a multiple of 8. We already figured that out. It's 3 times 8. Here, 8 times 3, we do not need to list those again. Okay, 9, 24 is not a multiple of 9. 24 is not a multiple of 10 or 11. Boom, it is of 12, but we already listed 2 times 12. We don't need to do that again. 13, no. 14, no. 15, nope. All right, we are all done listing the factors for the number 24. And I'm going to list them now from least to greatest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, and 24, from least to greatest. All right. Look at this second direction though. Circle the common factors. So which ones do they have the same? What do they share, 12 and 24? 12 has a 1, 24 has a 1, 12 has a 2, 24 has a 2, 12 has a 3, 24 has a 3, 12 has a 4, 24 has a 4, 12 has a 6, 24 has a 6, 12 has a 12, and 24 has a 12. Look at all those common factors. Okay, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we get to do with those common factors. But for us today, it just says put a square around the greatest common factor. So put a square around the biggest factor that these two share, and that would, for us, be number 12. All right. How many common factors did we have? We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 common factors. Ladies and gentlemen, that is number 3 and 4 of Mountain Math.